Yeah. Wish I could ain't alone. Moments in vibrant. Wordplay turns into gunplay. Gunplay turns into pillow talk. Pillow talk turns into sweet dreams. Sweet dreams turn into coffee in the morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good
morning.
morning. Welcome to episode 2 of Coffee to Go. I am your co-host Lou with our co-hosts Lauren, David, Giselle, and LaShawn.
Hey guys.
It's a funny
What's
moment.
up? What's up? What's up?
So, how was our week? How was our week, everybody?
Every day felt like a Monday for me, which
I was gonna say
So
not
there
as
we go.
crazy as the week before, but
Yeah.
I felt like
Wait.
it was long. I felt like
it was a
week.
long week, right?
yeah.
I think this week should be short. I mean, we have a Martin Luther King Day tomorrow. It's a holiday, and then it should be a nice 4-day week that hopefully won't be a long 4-day week.
4-day weeks are always
Yeah.
long.
Yeah, they tend to. I hate.
Tomorrow, so
Oh.
I'll be listening to you guys.
Okay, you can live vicariously through us.
Yeah.
I hate like coming back to work the next day after a holiday because you always feel like you got to catch up on stuff. Like you have a day's worth of work to catch up on because you wasn't there.
Uh-huh.
And then on top of that, it's like coming back from vacation is like probably one of the hardest things to do. But coming back from a 1-day vacation, that's like it's tough. You can't. I don't like 1 day. Like give me like 5 days and I'll be all right. I need a 5-day holiday.
Yeah. That's why I took 3 days off this week. So I'm only working 1 day this week. So
What?
I got a holiday.
Look
I got a
at you.
holiday.
Look at you, yeah.
That's it.
You got a holiday.
Come in Tuesday. I'm like, yo, what's up? Bye.
All right. So David suggested we start off this episode by giving a brief synopsis of how we fell in love with coffee. So who would like to go first?
When did we start? Like, when did we start drinking coffee?
Okay, I started drinking coffee. I want to say like 10 years old. I started drinking Sanka because that's what my aunt had. But like really drinking coffee was my first job, which was Cinnabon. I was like 16. At 16, it was a wrap. It was a wrap.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, from there, every single day, at least 2 cups because I need an afternoon pick me up. And then, of course, but at least.
Gotcha. I started off late. I always had energy, so I was like, nah, you coffee drinkers, I don't need that. I don't need that. I got my own energy. And then I'm in college. I made the switch from psychology major to nursing. And then I really needed it. Like it was just waking up early. So I was like, you know what, let me drink some coffee. And then boom, hooked. I'm a 1 cupper. That's it. Just 1 cup and I'm set. If
For the day, that's it, just one?
Yeah, just 1. But I feel like I crash and I don't want that second cup because I know if I get that second cup, now it's going to be 2 days. So battling, I'm just trying to keep it to 1 cup.
I remember like sneaking sips of coffee from like my grandmother's cup and my mom's cup when I was little. But I don't think I became like an avid coffee drinker until I was like 16, like Sean said. Like getting up for school early and taking all those early morning classes and commuting and working an after school job. And now I need like 2 or 3 a day. I can drink coffee before bed without a problem. That's me.
I could do that.
I'm the same.
Me too.
I'm the same.
I can't.
I think for me it started like around well, in the Spanish culture they have, well, David and Giselle would know this, they would have coffee as it's like a dessert almost, so at night, they would bring out the desserts and then they would have coffee with it. So that's kind of like how I got hooked onto coffee. My grandmother would, she would make flan, or, she would make some kind of dessert, and she would have coffee with it, and I would sip on her coffee, and she's like, this is gonna keep you up at night. You're not supposed to drink this. But in my head, I'm like, then why are you drinking it? Like,
and they still give it to you though.
Yeah. So, I didn't have full cups of coffee. I didn't start drinking coffee until I became. I was manager at the McDonald's over by the ferry, the one on the Manhattan side. You remember that, Lauren, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was
It's not there anymore, right?
Yeah, it's not there anymore. But I was like the assistant general manager over there, and I used to have to work like 12-hour shifts, and my shifts would start at like the weirdest times. Like if I had a morning shift, my shift would start at like 5 o'clock in the morning. If it was a night shift, my shift would start at like 7 o'clock at night, and I would literally work anywhere between like 10 to 12 hours a day. So I needed energy. I needed something, to keep me going. And at that time, the only time I was really drinking Red Bull is when I went out to the club. Like that's, I need Red Bull.
I haven't had a Red Bull and I don't even know how long.
Oh man. I mean, I drink Red Bull. Now it's like Red Bull is my coffee chaser. Like
I smelled the Red Bull once and I've been high ever since.
I mean, I love Red Bull. Like and you know what? I got addicted to all the flavors.
I want to let you know that's not safe. Okay, as a friend, I'm telling you that is not safe. And
it's not safe, but I live dangerous. I live very dangerous.
Not gonna take the advice.
So. Take care of your heart.
Yeah, I do not adhere to LaShawn's shirt. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
I do not adhere to. I live dangerous. I live in the fast lane. I am in the Hove lane by myself.
Dude, that's funny though. Like there was really like pushed on us when we were kids. They're like,
they still have that They still have programs like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't work there anymore, so I can talk about it now. But I actually was a substance abuse prevention and intervention specialist at a high school, and a lot of the stuff they adopted from that DARE program, and they like provide, curriculum about like drug prevention, fostering better relationships with peers, how to handle conflict, stuff like that. So they still have those programs, which is pretty cool.
They used to have like a tiger, right? Was it a lion?
There's no mascot now. It's just like, it's not fun like they used to make it, right? We used to go to like.
They need to bring that guy back. They need to bring the tiger, just like
come into the club,
right?
I remember going to like PAL. And like they would always have that one person that comes in. It was always like a police officer or somebody, like a firefighter or something. They would come in and they'd just be like, "Hey kids, don't do drugs." And it's just like, okay, where you guys at right now? Because this everybody's hooked on drugs. And there's there's like different. Yeah. Well, I mean, what I mean by like hooked on drugs, it's like anything could be a drug now. I mean, coffee is a drug. Anything that allows you to become addicted, that you really need it, is a drug. My opinion,
Yeah.
Caffeine's also one of those.
Every time they talk about weed, they wink.
You need.
What you said, Laura?
Caffeine, like me, I didn't really start drinking coffee till like I was just working 9 to 5, maybe my first 9 to 5 job. It just became part of like the routine. Like,
the routine.
Get coffee on my way to work or whatever. And I always thought I don't need it. I don't need coffee. I just drink it because it's. But if I don't have coffee,
oh man,
I definitely feel the difference. So it's like one of those drugs you don't know you need.
Yeah.
So you try to get off. Has anyone ever tried to like detox? Like you tell yourself, you know what? I don't want to drink coffee ever again. I'm gonna try and get off this wagon. Has anyone tried that? And
I haven't tried to like detox, but I have tried to like go a week without coffee before. Like,
it's not fun.
I last about probably 4 or 5 days before I'm like, nah, I need a cup of coffee. I need it.
I've tried before, but I've also done it while I was completely fasting. So it's kind of like taking everything away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fasting is good too.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm 2 weeks without coffee, but just because of the surgery I had, I can't have.
You can't have any.
I'm on Opal liquids, and caffeine is not it. You can't have it. So.
Yeah.
So you can't even have like tea. You have to have non-caffeinated tea as well.
Yeah, decaf tea.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel any withdrawals, like headaches or like?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. All that stuff.
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
that stuff.
But
I can't wait. I'm
give me
counting
the
down
coffee.
days.
Give me the coffee.
Well, I got like 13
Is that
days
chocolate? Does it have coffee in it? Let me get a piece.
Right?
left. Can't even have that.
Okay, so let's actually get into our first topic of the episode. Sean said last week that we was going to elaborate on mental health. So as the resident mental health physician in our group, Giselle, I would like you to start this off.
Sure. So I think today we said we were also going to talk about like self-care and what
Mhm.
self-care looks like for us, and some practices that we started during quarantine that we think or we want to continue now or we want to try over. Is that what you started during quarantine? Eating
Donuts
snacks?
in the morning.
Donuts? I haven't had a
On
donut
breakfast.
in so long. That's a good self-care.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
He agrees.
So I'm curious to know, like, what is something that everyone picked up during quarantine and added to their daily routine to kind of just help get through that day? Because I think it's really important for us to at least have one activity that keeps us grounded, and that looks different for everybody, of course. So I'm curious to know.
Well, I wouldn't have something I would do every single day, but I did start braiding hair, which I realized I've always loved. So that's kind of like giving me a new hope and purpose looking into 2021. Like I'm doing this and it makes me happy. And
Mhm.
definitely when I'm done doing somebody's hair, I'm like my happiest. I'm like on a high from it.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's
And
awesome.
that
Yeah.
dopamine drop. Just boom.
Yeah.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I started playing music in the morning. There's this album by John Baptiste and Corey Wong. It's a pianist and a guitarist, and the album is called Meditation. And I just every morning I wake up, I just put it on, and then it's just like a soul vibe, gets my day going. Like that's what I chose to play that I choose to play that every morning, and it gets me going. Also, like it gets me more in tune with like music, so I hear it in my head, and then I go about my day. You know, that's it. And coffee.
Yeah.
I think I start my day
Except
off
for that.
with a nice cup of coffee. I don't listen to music every morning. I try to meditate. I pray a lot more. I try to get into this little rhythm in the morning to try to get my day jump started. The kids annoy me, so being that I'm working from home, so they kind of like make my
You don't
morning
mean it,
too.
kids.
No, I mean it. Um, but I've been every morning has been different. I want to get back into reading. I started a whole series, and I haven't read the book since I moved down here. So I do want to get back into that, and usually I read at night, but I'm thinking to wake up maybe an hour earlier in the morning, maybe get a chapter in it too,
You
because
definitely
I feel
should.
like it is stimulate
Mhm.
my mind for the day.
Mhm. Absolutely.
I had this weird dream, and it was funny because I was in a car with my wife, with Natalie, and then we were just talking, and it's like, you know what? Every time you wake up, you should at least read for like 10 minutes. Like it was like a weird time that I said. I think from my dream, it's very true. If you just read just anything, get your mind stimulated, and also like the next time you read, the thing that happens is that you're not gonna stay to one page. You're gonna be like, yo, let me finish this chapter. Let me finish
Yeah.
this part. Let me finish this book, and then you who knows where you go from there. So you definitely, man. I think that's a good thing to do. Start reading. Maybe that's like a good thing for everyone to start doing. I mean, hey, if you're not a reader, you're not a reader, but it does help.
It does. They say reading up to like 4 pages before you start your day or right before bed is like ideal, even if you're not a reader, because that'll kind of help you get into that preferred mood, which is interesting because if you read as soon as you get out of bed and you're reading something that you prefer, again, like David said, it's going to get you into that mood. But if you're not a reader and you're reading right before bed, it might help get you sleepy. It might help you feel relaxed. So try either or.
Yeah.
You'll see.
It could be anything too.
The difference. Yeah.
I got a comic book here, so I'm gonna
Yeah,
bang this out in like
exactly.
in
It doesn't
20
have to
minutes.
be an act. Exactly.
That's it.
Yep.
LaShawn, what do you do?
I don't really do anything. Like in the beginning, like but no, like in the beginning of quarantine, like I started reading Twilight,
Oh, you read that?
and like I would like dedicate like I to like read it and like listen to music at the same time. But then like as time went, I was just like, yeah, I don't feel like doing that, and I just picked my phone up and started
Yeah.
scrolling. So I don't
It's easier to
really,
get into the habit of scrolling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. But I'm gonna get back to it because I got all 5 books and I want to like read all of them because I love the movies and I heard the books are way better, so I want to read it.
It's always better, right?
Always better. Always.
I
think
tried
that,
to put my phone down. I'm sorry, Lou, but
No,
I
go ahead.
think I've been putting my phone down and not scrolling like mindlessly on social media and other platforms. I'm just like, you know what? Phone down and just be in the present moment, because that I think that takes away the drawback from mindlessly scrolling is attention. And like the more attention you give to the scrolling, you kind of like give up time. So I feel like
You
being
focus
aware of
attention
that,
on something else. Yeah.
mhm,
It's gotten
you
me dumber.
you
I feel
you
like
direct
it's
that
making me
energy
dumber.
into better things.
Yeah.
Yeah, like grading, reading,
Yeah.
playing more music. Those are activities that you
Working
love
out,
doing.
drinking your
Working
water.
out, you know, watching your show. Even I mean, watching shows is fun and all that, but we got to be careful with the binging and the scrolling.
I think that's a huge thing when it comes to finding your mental health, or evaluating yourself. Self-awareness is very key when it comes to mental health issues, because not a lot of people are self-aware of exactly what they feel and what they're going through. It's hard to pinpoint what you are exactly going through or the necessary feelings for it, because the first feelings that you feel 9 times out of 10 is not the synopsis of what you're actually dealing with. And what I mean to say is, like, when something happens and you get angry, you're not really angry at this particular situation. You're angry at another situation. But another situation, it's a snowball effect or a domino effect. It trickles into everything else. And I feel like, as far as evaluating yourself, evaluating your mental health, you have to be able to pinpoint exactly what you're feeling, not only at this particular moment, but all together. So in regards to this, what would you guys say is your biggest flaw in you evaluating yourself for mental health? Like, what do you think is your biggest flaw?
No flaws, Virgo. We're perfect. No, just kidding.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna opt this one out. You guys gonna breathe for a little bit. No, but I for me, and it's the exact same thing that I mentioned, like the mindlessly scrolling. Like I was a victim of that, where I cycled through between apps. I go here, I go there. I'll check my email, I'll check my money, I'll check this, and then it's like, what are you doing? You're spending like close to an hour just doing silly things, and I feel like just it's too connected. You can't. I feel like this whole social media. I'll say social media, but technology. Like we're growing up with it, even though when we were kids we didn't have it. You know, so we're like in a way like a new kind of human, where maybe in the future too it's going to be very different for our children and their children. But for us, like that's our like gripe. We have to battle against that and be aware. So for me, it's putting the phone down, not being, it's almost like your brother or sister, because everyone's always like this. They're always just like looking at it. Or when you talk to somebody, they're kind of looking at it, and then you're just like, I asked you a question. And we've been in that situation. I've been the culprit and the victim.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It sucks.
Mhm.
It sucks that that's what we have to do. So right now, phone down. You could go to it, but it's not like, try to build increments when you're not with it and be with yourself.
I've actually been trying to be more cognizant of that. Because if you have an iPhone, every Sunday, it gives you your
screen.
snapshot
Yeah.
of what
don't
you
even look at
screened
Mhm.
for the week. So every Sunday, I feel accomplished when it says down by, screen time has been down by a certain amount of percent, But then I feel
Motivational.
like, when it goes up, it's like, oh, screen time is up. I feel a little depressed. I'm like, what was I doing all week on my phone? So that's a huge thing, because you try to live in your own world, in your own bubble, but then you're living in the world as well.
Mhm.
And social media not only connects you to everybody and every living thing and everything that's going on, but it also can be a hindrance, because you're blocking your own blessings in a sense. You're blocking your own self, or you're blocking the people that's nearest around you. It's kind of like going out to dinner with your loved one, and both of you guys are on your phone instead of this.
Having like the connection.
Right. What
I
else?
recently deleted my social media because of that same reason, David. Just like the mindless scrolling. I found I wasn't being really productive. I feel like my feed was full of things or people that I didn't align myself with anymore, or like just things I didn't really want to see. It just wasn't like conducive to anything that I was doing. And my screen time went down. I got the alert this morning. It went down 17% from last week. And I was like, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot for someone who was
like 17%. Like, what does that mean in time? You probably gained like a lot of time back.
Yeah. And whether I use it productively or not is irrelevant, but I feel the difference from being on social media. Like, I used to wake up in the morning, and I have a lot of followers. Like, I have a Twitter account that has a lot of followers. My Instagram has a lot of followers. I am on like Clubhouse and on a lot of different platforms. So for someone who was or had like a following and was used to like tweeting all the time and posting all the time, it was draining, and it did take a lot out of my day, and it did affect my mental health. So I feel a lot better.
Right on.
Okay. How about you, Sean? What's a flaw that you could see from yourself?
The only is I keep a lot of things in. So like a lot. Like a lot.
No.
The only time I really do don't do that. Don't do that. So, the only time like I really do share is like with my therapist. I don't really share too much, but Lauren got a little bit of it like maybe a year ago. We've been friends almost 20 years. So like I keep a lot of stuff in, and then it puts me in that depression state because it's all inside. So I'm thinking about it, I'm not releasing it or anything like that. So it's like it'll all hit me at once. Now I'm thinking about everything, and now I'm just sitting there, and I want to sit in the dark, and I don't want to be bothered. So like I just really need to work on letting things, out. Like people are there for you. I just always feel like I put in my mind that if I tell people too much, like they'll use it against me or they'll bring it back up. So I just still keep in because I don't want people to have any like ammo against me, like, So
I was just thinking that ammo in my head. It clicked. I was like, yeah, ammo. Like, there's a book that I started reading. It's like this book this samurai wrote. I bought like over quarantine. I actually bought a lot of books that I should really read. But in this book, it was the samurai was saying that a good warrior should always keep their spirit within themselves. Like, don't share too much. Don't let everybody see your spirit. Keep, be true. And also, we could even add on to that. You should only share with those that you trust, or your therapist, or whoever in your immediate circle, and you'll know. And it's also like you should try to find an outlet to let that go, whether in anything. It doesn't matter. It could be something physical or writing, but it would be good to release that in some physical way, because you could. It sucks holding it in, because like when you were saying that, like sometimes at work, I talk to people a lot, and the conversations that we get into, it's difficult. They linger in my head. I'm like, David, why you say that? Oh, you tripping. Like you tripped on your word. And then it's like, it'll be a random moment and I'll think about it and it'll just beat me. It'll just echo in my head. So I feel like what I do, I play music, I'll work out, and then it'll be a way to like, I punch the bag and I'll let it go. So it's we're all going to find our thing. But I think that's true. Letting go, we have to find a way to let go in a good way.
Okay. Lauren, what's the floor?
Ooh, almost spilled my coffee.
Me, well, I want to say like over the last 2-3 years, I did like a lot of work on myself in therapy. I tried a few different therapists and found one that I liked, and actually stopped seeing him. I didn't see a therapist in 2020 because I learned how to deal with things. But my problem is that once I am dealing with something in the right way, but then there's going to be that one time where something really triggers me and then I'm going off, I'm cursing everybody out, everybody's going to know. And then I beat myself up about it because I knew I shouldn't have done that. And I feel like I have to start all over again. But I have the tools to do it again. But it's like, why do I have to keep doing this over and over? That's my problem.
I think that's something that, we all need to learn more about ourselves, is that it's okay to break down. There's this stigma on mental health that we should all walk this line, and we should all be this perfect human being, and mental health is not real, and mental health disorders are not real, bipolarness, this feeling that you're crazy, it's real, and depression is probably one of the most, if not the most, it have to be one of top 5 things that can personally kill you. If it's not physically, it's mentally. If it's not mentally, it's spiritually. If it's not spiritually, it's emotionally. And we get into this mode where we feel like, all right, I can't break down. I got to be strong. Everybody's relying on me. No, it's okay to break down. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to cry. It's okay for all of these emotions. We can't bottle these emotions inside, because once they boil over, it's hard to bottle it back up. And then there's going to be things that are going to be done or said that you're going to regret, as in Lauren's case. And we have to find a way where we can not only reach out and be self-aware, keyword here, self-aware of our emotions, but also dial it back in and figure out, where do we go from here? What do I do from here? Where do I go? Who should I talk to? What outlets do I have? And that's to I guess crescendo into our next topic. What do you guys do to not only calm yourself down, but to get yourself into your own kind of mode where you're coping with it? You're able to deal with your specific flaw.
Well, I don't cope with it until definitely a few days and then flip
But what do you do?
flip
Like what?
out. You know what I do, Lou.
Well, I know what you do, but I mean,
I
You know
flip
what
out
I do.
honestly, and Lou probably 98% of the time is the one that talks me back into myself. Uh, Sometimes it's good to hear from an outside party. Also, I've realized this, like, not that my friends don't give me good advice, but I feel like my friends are also very much involved in my life, so they're very in it.
Hmm.
And I feel like
Biased almost.
when I hear it from somebody that's like removed, like maybe like somebody I don't talk to that often, and I happen to talk to that person, and it'll be like, okay, this outside person kind of can remind me, like, you're still doing everything right. I think sometimes that helps.
That validation is important.
Yeah.
and reaffirmation as well.
Hmm.
I always when Laura calls me and she's like breaking down, my first thing, and Giselle has called me as well. You know, David has called me. Sean doesn't really call me as much because
She'll
you know she
call
she
nobody.
bottles all her stuff inside. She
She'll
doesn't,
be
you know,
yelling.
not to I'm not,
I'm
not
not,
trying to bag on you,
I
but
don't
you
mean
know,
in
She's like,
general.
I'm
Yeah,
good. I don't
Sean
need
Sean
you.
is more of a stronger figure where, you know, people actually call her. It's like me, you know, people will call
Mhm.
you and but usually when Lauren does call me or Giselle calls me, my first thing is, you know, first I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to everything because that's very key when it comes to um trying to assess what somebody is going through so you could possibly you know either give them advice or just reaffirm them that hey, you're doing the right thing. Hey,
Also, just
you're
to go off
okay.
of that, sorry, sometimes people just need to be listened to and they're
Yeah.
not really looking
Mhm.
for a response. So
Yep.
sometimes you just picking up that phone and saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna listen. I don't have to answer at all. When you're done, you can hang up. You could call me back if you want to. We
Mhm.
don't gotta talk about it tomorrow." Like just telling somebody that is also really important. So,
Right. And I
So
also try to
listen is to be silent, you know? It's
yeah.
actually funny. I recently realized that listen and silent have like the same letters. You just gotta rearrange them. To listen to someone is just to be quiet
hmm,
and hear them out.
and do so actively. Yeah, yeah, and presently. Sorry, we'll
Well,
keep going.
no, you're okay. But I mean, also like give them the love and attention that they're craving because 9 times out of 10, when somebody is going through something and somebody is calling you and they're reaching out and they need that attention as well. They need that love. They need that reaffirmation that they're going to be okay. Because it's okay not to be okay. It's okay not to feel okay. But it's not okay to reach out to somebody and they're just like, oh, everything is like, you know, they're like kind of like a Debbie Downer. No, everything is like going crazy. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, what did you do? No, it's let me listen. You know, that's the first thing that you should do. Listen, assess everything that's going on, assess their personal needs. Sometimes, like Giselle said, sometimes they just need that person to listen to, and you have to assess that. And sometimes they need that person that's going to be like, hey, I love you and I'm here with you. You know, you have to affirm that. You have to say that I'm here with you. Whatever you need, I am here with you. And then you could go about the conversation that way and try to dictate how the conversation is going through by the relationship that you have with that person. Listening may not always be the best thing to do as far as that particular person because sometimes that person doesn't just want you to listen. Sometimes that person wants you to give input. Sometimes that person, like when Giselle calls me, she's like, am I crazy for thinking this? Or, you know, what do you feel about this situation? Well, you know, then I go ahead and I give my take on it, you know, and you try to be as honest and as open as you can because that transparency is also showing them that okay, I can be transparent too and I can take this feedback. Constructive criticism is the best criticism. You know, it's not bad criticism. You're not telling this person, hey, you're evil, you should never think like this. No, because these thoughts do happen. You know, I mean, I can't speak for the rest of you guys, but I mean, me personally, there's days where I go and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna get through the day. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the week. I don't know how I'm gonna get through the month. I don't know how I'm gonna get through life. Why am I really here? What purpose am I serving? why am I
just
alive
builds
sometimes?
and builds and builds, and then like you
Right.
start thinking all these thoughts, and you're just like, hey man, like you're going up in the clouds, and you got to like ground yourself. And
Right.
definitely, man, it's also, you know, you asked in the beginning like what do we do for moments like those? So like the overthinker that
Mhm.
thinks, and then like just thoughts are not even finished. You just keep, what's this? What's this? What is real? What is life? And then you just start to like almost disintegrate. I think the best thing to do is to stop. You
Mhm.
know, sometimes you just stop thinking and just, you know what, breathe, remove yourself from whatever it is if you can, remove yourself
Yeah.
from the situation, breathe. I think I don't know where I heard this from, but I don't even think like we're taught to breathe, you know, like the way that we, you know, like it's just like in and out. It really helps if you just take like 10 minutes in and out, and
And
you know,
most people
calm
breathe the
yourself.
wrong way.
That was
Yeah.
actually the
Yeah.
last therapist I was seeing. It was more like not so much talk therapy, and I was really kind of tired of going and talking about my life.
Mhm.
Mm.
So it was more like exercises and breathing. He taught me a lot of different breathing exercises, because when you control your breath, you
Mhm.
can control your heart rate, you can control your
Yeah.
anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely like, probably go on YouTube and watch tons of videos on the breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. You gotta take from the
The
belly.
belly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
it really helps. I read
it
a book
does.
called Breath. I'll send you guys a link for it. It was very interesting. It was just talking about just breathing over, you know, over time, and just the benefits, the forgotten benefits of it. You know, because
Hmm.
right now we're probably just like it's regular breathing, you know, regular. But if you really
Exactly.
are mindful of it, just take, you know,
Mhm.
meditate. It really helps. Puts your mind at
Yeah. Thinking of something while you're breathing. Like he used to say, just vision yourself sinking into whatever you're sitting on. You're
Yeah, like a
sinking
guided
into the,
meditation. Yeah.
yeah. So it did
yeah.
help.
LaShawn, what do you do to
What?
Better
what do
I
stop
love
it.
I love Lashon's
what
action. Like she's
what do you
How
do
do you
to
wusa?
yeah, how do you
I
so.
stuff
don't.
down?
I don't. So like I said, I talk to my therapist. But like, if I'm having like an issue during the week, like where somebody like really just me, because it takes me like I talk to people about it. A select few people. I might speak about what just happened, like the situation. But other than that, I just hold it right here, and then it'll go away in a couple of days.
I hear that.
It depends on the situation though. Like if it's a bad situation, like where I'm just really like heated, then
Mhm.
I'll speak to somebody. Other than that, it's like it's my pass. In a couple of days, I'll be alright.
Right.
What about our cats? I mean, when I come back home, just throw myself on the couch, and then the cat just comes up on my chest, and they're like, she's
Mhm.
like, "I know,
Oh.
sweetie." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Mhm.
But
Well, my
cats are
cat,
great.
if I'm ever sad, she just like appears next to me. I don't know where the heck she comes from. If I feel sad, she's just there. I'm like, where'd you come from?
Yeah, cats are
They sense
great.
it for real.
Animals do
Just
Not
sense it.
Kelly.
Yeah.
Not
Giselle,
Kelly.
what do you do?
I do a lot of different things. It depends how stressed I am, what I have access to, how much time I have. Um, meditation. I do a lot of yoga. I try to spend as much time as I can outside, whether that's just like a drive down the block. When it
Mhm.
was nice out, I used to go to the park every single day. Lou, I know you knew this. For at least a minimum of an hour. That was like my thing after work, no matter what. I made sure that
Good.
I went to the park or somewhere where there was fresh air and the sun, which has been really hard to do lately since it's so cold. So I'm having a really hard time. But yeah, breathing, talking to a friend. I journal a lot. Um, I'm one of those people. Well, I realized I think I'm one of those people where I like write down, like David said, every single thought that I have, so I don't become compulsive, like obsessive over it. And then
Mhm.
I like, if I feel that I'm writing that same thing over and over, then it's a topic that I bring up to a friend to talk about. Because then I realize, oh wow, this is like really bothering me more than I thought it did, and that kind of really helps me realize like what's important and what's not important, if that makes sense. Like if I'm constantly thinking about one thing, like more than 2 or 3 times, all right, this is an issue. I got to talk about it with somebody. So that's kind of been helping me too.
Okay. David?
I
know you kind of spoke on it, but like,
yeah, just like you're removing yourself from a situation if you can, breathing, being active like that, and just what else can I say? I mean, journaling too. I mentioned it a lot, but I just started. I've been doing it for like a month now, and in the beginning, I just write in the morning, just write anything. It's a thought that just drops my brain. Just write this, and then I'll write something silly, I'll rhyme, and then after that, like thoughts just start to come out, and then like I'll think about like life, and I'll write it, and also I use it for my dreams too. Like I'll have a dream, and it's funny because if you have a dream and it's like very vivid, but then like you wake up, you go about your day, the dream fades, and like you don't remember it anymore. So I've been trying to catch them and write them down, and then think about them. And then I had some pretty strange dreams where I'll keep thinking about it, and then I kind of see the meaning behind it. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what I should do. Okay, and I'll keep it between myself because they're kind of weird, but I just do that, Be mindful of like just taking back the attention, realizing that I don't want to wither away with my thoughts because I'm an overthinker. I think you guys will start to see that as sometimes I talk and then it's like kind of like it's almost scatterbrain. So right now I'm in the process of just gathering my thoughts and speaking. But that's sticking to your methods and finding what works for you. So for what works for me is breathing, working out, journaling, and being silent for a little bit, and then coming back to it. I'm trying to be like a monk, That's what I'm trying to go for, that warrior monk thing. Yeah. So yeah.
I think with me, it's more of everybody knows here that I do music, and I think music is probably one of my biggest therapy things where I can sit down and just write. I don't write about anything specifically. Sometimes it can be what I'm going through. Sometimes it's just I just need to write. I just need to listen to a beat, find a concept, and write about that concept. And it helps me structure. It helps me kind of release. It gives me an outlet, so to speak. And another thing that I do is I play video games. I know there's a huge, stigma in the older generation where video games are kind of for kids, or it's not conducive to but to me personally, I mean, to play a video game, especially when you're playing a really good video game and you could really it's like reading a really good book. You're playing a storyline, but everything is interactive, and you could really dive into it. And I've been playing more games lately, just especially during quarantine, trying to get into a good storytelling video game where I can kind of get lost in. I could kind of do what I want to do, and the world is there, and you build your character, and in a way I'm building myself. I'm seeing things a little bit differently now. I kind of look at it in a way where it's like I can escape what I'm going through personally. Although, once you turn it off, or once you stop writing, or once you stop doing whatever you're doing, you have to kind of come back to reality and deal with the situation. But it kind of gives you a fresh perspective of what you're actually dealing with when you could remove yourself and come back to it. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, the dissociation, that healthy dissociation is important.
Right. Being able to kind of like leave the room and then come back in, you know, especially when the emotions at that particular moment are at an all-time high, and you're angry or you're frustrated or you're anxious, and you could just leave, calm down, do whatever you have to do to calm yourself down, come back to the situation and kind of have fresh eyes on it. Like, okay,
Mhm.
I wasn't seeing this before the way that I need to see it, but now I am seeing it a little bit more. And this is what I should do to kind of, you know, go about the situation. This is how I should deal with it. And I think that that plays a huge key in, you know, as well as your self-awareness. You know, I want to keep coming back to self-awareness, because mental health, without that self-awareness, how can you assess your mental health? How can you help yourself be better and go forward, you know? Um, okay, we have oh, okay. So I want to get into this real quick, and then I guess we could wrap up this episode. The negatives concerning mental health. You know, what do you guys like feel are the biggest negatives that you see and that you actually personally have been dealt, I guess, or spoken about too, that you've kind of had to navigate, so that way we could kind of give our listeners a way where they can navigate their own negatives, the people that's around them that, you know, I guess say, hey, you know, your mental health is not key, or, you know, how can the people that's gonna listen go about their day, you know, give them advice.
Keep people in your corner that are rooting for you. You shouldn't ever feel like you can't go and speak to somebody because they're going to hold it against you. Kind of like Sean said before. No one in your corner, you should never be worried that anyone in your corner is going to weaponize you or your feelings. And if you feel that, then they shouldn't be in your corner. And that's something that you have to reevaluate, like those people that you consider your friends or your confidants or, you know, whatever. I think the first thing that's important. I think the second thing that's also important is to understand, and this is something that I tell myself every day, it's actually an affirmation of mine. Opinions are not facts, and we're all entitled to our own opinions. And just because someone says that that's how they feel, or how they feel about a subject or about me or about something that's going on, doesn't mean that it's factual.
Right.
And I think that's important too, to kind of like, you know, we're always going to hear something from somebody we don't want to hear. Someone's going to tell us about ourselves. Someone's going to imply something about us. Someone might not say anything at all. And our perspective is going to allow us to kind of taint that. But again, just remembering that's someone's opinion. It's not a fact. You know, only you know the answers. You don't owe anyone an explanation. And also just to remember, and I think this is the hardest part for me, that not everyone has to understand what you're going through. I'll be honest, because whatever, I'm diagnosed bipolar. I do suffer from depression and anxiety. And I think the biggest thing for me when I was first diagnosed, like 10 plus years ago at this point, I just felt really misunderstood. And I think I've finally gotten to a place where I'm not worried about if other people understand me. I'm just worried about if I understand me. And once you get to that like kind of headspace, I think you're kind of good to go. So that's my word of wisdom for everyone. Like, understand yourself and then worry about everyone else falling in line, because you stressing everyone understanding you before you understand yourself, no one's winning in that situation at all. So
absolutely. I feel like understanding, you mentioned, Alu, that like what are the negatives that you see against, you know, with mental health. I feel like in my journey that not everyone's going to understand you, and that's okay, because maybe they're, you know, you probably are in a, I guess, on a higher level from them. You know, you can share something very deep and then they'll tell you, oh, you're too this, you're too that, you know, you should calm down. You know, in the beginning, kind of really didn't have a lot of friends because you couldn't have that conversation with them. They were just, oh, yeah, So understanding that, hey, look, not everyone's going to be in your corner, and just understanding that it's not like you're going to be alone. No, it's just that not everyone can have that conversation. So, okay, you learn. Um, damn, my train of thought just went. But I think just understanding yourself first, and maybe there's just like you can avoid a lot of frustrations in doing that, because once you know your corners, you work it out, then you can go about your day. So Giselle, you said most of the things that I wanted to say. So I think I think that's key, understanding. And it goes back to what you were saying, Lou, self-awareness, right?
Right.
Understanding self, know thyself. I think that's like
Mhm.
a thing that everyone says, and it's rooted in other things. But yeah, I think it's important. Know yourself before you know others. Because once you know that, nothing can stop you. Someone can have an opinion about you, and you're just like, okay, like
Mhm.
you're misguided,
Mhm.
or you really don't know. That's okay.
Mhm.
That's you,
Mhm.
and that's period.
Okay. Any other advice that we could give our listeners?
Just that, like, if you realize that you're like dealing with something like depression or anxiety or anything like that, to seek help and not think like, when we was raised, we was thinking that if somebody went to a therapist, that they was crazy.
Mhm.
Not thinking that they're dealing with anything, just, oh, they must be crazy. But don't think like that. Like, if you need help, seek it, because
Yeah.
if you're holding all that stuff in, who knows what might happen? Suicide rates is high. You might, not be able to deal with it, and then next thing you know, you're offing yourself. So, like,
Yeah.
Don't
just
give
really,
up after
really
the first therapist.
that too. Make sure you find somebody that you click with, and just
Mhm.
definitely
Exactly.
go with it.
I would like to kind of piggyback on everybody's advice. Get a support group. Get somebody that you can text. Get somebody that you can call. Know the person that you can text and that you can call, because not everybody is going to be the same. um I'm not the only person that Lauren or Giselle or David or Sean calls or texts, that they would tell certain information to, just like they wouldn't be mine,
Mhm.
but they're all a part of my support system. So find people, get you a group of people that you trust, and use them as your support. Use them as the backbone to your mental health. Be aware of who exactly you're speaking to, because everybody's going to give you different advice, and make sure that the advice that they give you and the person that you're calling, they're not going to be a yes man. They're not going to be the person that's going to yes you to death, and try to make you feel like you know everything is just peachy, because you yourself knows everything is not peachy, and that's the
Mhm.
reason why you're making the phone call. That's the reason why you're texting and you're reaching out to that person. And also, seek a therapist. Therapy works. It helps. It's not this bad thing as Sean was saying. It's not this bad thing. It's not this like Sean said, it's not the way that we was raised. You're not crazy to want to get help. Seek help. Go get it. There's a plethora of programs and therapists and people out there that's willing to help you. Giselle is one of them. If you have any concerns, if you need the help, if you need info on that help, reach out to Giselle. She can get you to the right channels, and reach out to us as well. We're always here to listen. We're always here to try to get you through whatever you're going through. And that's the biggest thing, finding your support group. Once you find your support group, I feel it's not going to get any better. It's a work in progress, and understand that you yourself are a work in progress.
Mhm.
You're always going to find new things to work on yourself with. So find your support group, find help. If you feel like you need the help, get it. And I'd like to close on this. We are in a world where there's people that either want to see you win or want to see you lose. And unfortunately, a lot of the people just want to see you lose. They say that they want to see you win, but that's not the truth. If you can find the people that truly want to see you win, then that's a win in itself. And that's
You will know them by their fruits. It's Sunday, so I'll quote some Bible. But you'll know them by their fruits. And actually, just quick Google that because I wanted to know what book was in it. But pretty much the way that you find those people that want to see you win is what they bear, what they show you, their behaviors, their works. When you pay attention to that, you're just like, oh, this person understands that we're feasting. It's not a famine. It's not that, oh, you're winning, I'm jealous. That person will award you or will tell you, I'm proud of you. Pay attention to people like that. Pay attention that that they're not jealous. There's not an ounce of that. They just reciprocate great, good energy, almost like family. So I think that's something that to take key. You'll know them by what they give, what they show you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any last words for our listeners, guys?
I would just throw out there that if anyone is seeking help and they don't have anyone to talk to and they don't feel comfortable, the National Alliance on Mental Health does have a free text hotline where you can call or text in a crisis. You can text NAMI to 741-741 24/7 for some free counseling if you need help.
Can we link that?
Yes, we can link that and add the phone number.
Put it in the description. You can link that in the description, right?
Down
Down below.
Down below.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Like, hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
Share with your friends. Send us an email.
Well, I feel like this was a very productive episode on mental health. We'll probably revisit this down the line. And, we'll probably keep everybody as well up to date on our own self-awareness and our own journey because it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So with that being said, dear listeners, thank you for having coffee with us. It's LaShawn, Giselle, David, Law, and Lou. And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Wish I could ain't alone. Moments in vibrant. Wordplay turns into gunplay. Gunplay turns into pillow talk. Pillow talk turns into sweet dreams. Sweet dreams turn into coffee in the morning.